Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most horrifying transformations in Resident Evil games.
You're just a little boy.
For this list, we're looking at the most gruesome and shocking mutations characters undergo in the Resident Evil series. The more drastic the change, the better. There will be spoilers ahead for boss encounters and final bosses in numerous RE titles. Let us know in the comments which one still gives you nightmares. Number 10, Marguerite, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
You think you can walk in here and have your way with my family?
The Bakers were pretty horrifying to begin with, but a lot of that was down to their behaviour rather than their visual design. Marguerite was definitely the grossest enemy encountered in the entirety of Resident Evil 7 though. After being mortally wounded by Ethan Winters, Marguerite falls down a hole and retreats. You're right to be suspicious of whether she's really dead or not, because she quickly returns with a horrifying jump scare and boss fight, now transformed into a spider-like creature with elongated limbs and an insect nest growing on her body. It truly makes your skin crawl. Number 9, Piers Nivans, Resident Evil 6. This wasn't the first time a main character got infected with a virus or parasite, but it was one of the few times it was fatal. That was the case of Piers Nivans, who gets infected with the C virus while fighting House. Despite Chris encouraging Piers and promising they're both going to make it out alive, this isn't the case. The duo is trapped in an underwater facility, and there are very few escape pods. Piers heroically pushes Chris into the pod and locks the door, sacrificing himself for Chris and giving his life before he turns completely. What was horrifying was the loss of a main character in such a way. Number 8, Jack Norman, Resident Evil Revelations.
How dare you cross Feltro!
Though on home consoles, Resident Evil seemed to lose its way for a little while, it was a different story on portable. Though people didn't expect much from a Resident Evil made for the Nintendo 3DS, that was a mistake. Revelations was a sleeper hit, and one of the best games in the entire series, featuring new aquatic mutations and a nautical setting. The game's final boss is Jack Norman, leader of yet another cultish BOW research group. After getting infected with his own T-Abyss virus, he transforms into a horrific fishman, complete with gills and webbing, while maintaining an unsettling humanoid form and gaining the ability to teleport. Number 7, Alex Wesker, Resident Evil Revelations 2.
You came all this way just to say goodbye? Oh, I'm touched.
After a long hiatus, Claire Redfield finally returned and went after an entirely new member of the Wesker family, Alex Wesker, who'd been raised as part of a BOW experiment for her entire life. Eventually, she got into BOW research herself, joining Umbrella, which proved to be her ultimate downfall, as she becomes obsessed with engineering immortality.
Want to trans?
She's eventually driven to insanity and is too weak to overcome the mutagenic effects of her infections, but she's not in her final form until the very end of the game. Alex is finally a true monster, becoming a part organic, part mechanical horror who crawls around the walls backwards and shrieks. Number 6. Osmund Sadler, Resident Evil 4. After his long and difficult travels through rural Spain, Leon comes face to face with the leader of Los Illuminados for the first time. But they're not face to face for long, because it quickly becomes clear that Sadler doesn't have much of a face left. A gigantic yellow eyeball emerges from his mouth, and his head is torn from his neck. Instead, he's now got 6 fleshy limbs protruding from his body to help him move around, approaching Leon with his human body trailing across the floor. It's absolutely grotesque, and definitely didn't disappoint as the final boss for this beloved game. Number 5. Mother Miranda, Resident Evil Village.
Is that you? Oh, how I've missed you!
The enigmatic main villain, you don't see an awful lot of Mother Miranda herself until the very end of the game, but once you do, you'll wish she stayed hidden forever. Though Ethan will have already faced many cool and disgusting bosses in Resident Evil Village, from Lady Dimitrescu's dragon form to Moreau's putrid vomit-filled transformation, Mother Miranda has the most drastic change of all.
You fulfilled your purpose, Mr. Winters. You disposed of my false children and awakened the glorious Nicholas.
She goes from being relatively normal, aside from her strange outfit and 8 wings, to another spider-like foe, now overcome from her obsessive grief over her daughter. Heisenberg's junkyard battle has nothing on this. Number 4. Eveline, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
You're gonna be one of us. And then maybe you'll play nicely.
Over the course of the game, Eveline is already transforming, unbeknownst to Ethan, into an older body. But by the time he works out she's the real bad guy, she's left with no choice but to unleash her full power. She melts into a puddle of gunk and merges with all the mold and molded throughout the Baker estate, becoming an enormous monster made entirely of stomach-turning fungus.
You're just a little boy.
The fight itself might not be too unique by RE standards, but watching an old lady visibly disintegrate into a vast mold entity is truly horrifying. And then she still has a few more forms for you to fight through.
I just wanted a family.
Number 3. BITORES MENDEZ, Resident Evil 4. The spiritual leader of the enigmatic village where the game takes place, Mendez is a widely respected Catholic priest who quickly becomes yet another member of Los Illuminados, whom Leon needs to defeat. Mendez is already extremely tall and intimidating, able to fight off Leon's martial arts with ease. But when Mendez finally transforms, he gets significantly worse. His entire spine bursts out of his body, elongating him so that he looks more like a centipede than a man. As well as that, he also has 2 new limbs, also made out of his spinal column, that will deal no small amount of damage. Number 2. Albert Wesker, Resident Evil 5.
Don't you two ever tire of failing in your mission? You've really become quite an inconvenience for me.
After going up against Wesker since the very first game, we finally got a chance to give him his just desserts at the end of Resident Evil 5. Though he's already infected with all kinds of things, it's his celebrated Ouroboros virus that finally kills him, mutating him into a creature beyond all recognition. It's a bombastic, if a little ridiculous fight in the heart of an active volcano. Wesker's initially more human than not, despite his mutated arm, but eventually deteriorates. He loses more and more control of himself and the situation. Even falling into the lava pit doesn't kill him for good.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. William Birkin, Resident Evil 2.
You don't get away that easily.
Mr. X might be the most notorious foe in Resident Evil 2, but he doesn't have much of a transformation. He's pretty unpleasant right from the start. Birkin, on the other hand, while he doesn't pursue you as relentlessly, has a truly grotesque metamorphosis. When he reaches his second form, there's almost nothing of his old body left. He grows a new head, and his human torso is left desiccated, rotten, and still attached. But we still have multiple forms to go, and the last time you fight him, he barely resembles a human at all. He's nothing but a hulking mass of gore, bones, and eyes. It's the fact that he just keeps changing that makes him the most horrifying of all.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.